Millionaire kisses his new housekeeper to escape an arranged marriage and fell in love with her. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us return to our main character. The chandeliers of the Harrington estate glittered like 1,000 frozen stars, casting warm golden light across a ballroom filled with New York's most powerful families. Tuxedos, gowns, diamonds, and the soft hum of polite conversations blended into a perfect picture of high society celebration. But beneath all that shine, Lucas Harrington felt nothing but pressure coiling around his chest. Tonight was supposed to be his engagement announcement to a woman he barely knew. A merger in the shape of a marriage. A future chosen for him. Cameras were ready, reporters waited, and every eye in the room expected him to take his place beside the daughter of a partner corporation. Lucas straightened his tie, trying to breathe, but the air felt thick with expectation. He needed to disappear. Or at least, he needed one moment to breathe. Just as he stepped back from the crowd, searching for an exit, a young woman hurried past him, holding a neatly folded napkin and wearing the pale blue uniform of the household staff. Her name tag, slightly crooked, read Mia. She looked nervous, like she was new here. Her hair was tied back too tightly, her steps brisk and careful, the way someone walked when they did not want to make a single mistake. She glanced around the ballroom, clearly trying to find the guest who had dropped the napkin she carried. Lucas watched her weave through the crowd, invisible to everyone except him. And then he saw the moment everything collapsed. His parents stepped onto the small stage at the center of the room. The microphone hummed. A spotlight clicked on. "Ladies and gentlemen," his father announced, "thank you for joining us. Tonight, our family is proud to." Lucas's heart dropped. They were going to announce the engagement even before he agreed. He felt the walls closing. In. A life chosen for him. A decision made without him. A wedding he did not believe in. He took one step back, then another. But the spotlight found him. All heads turned. Reporters lifted their cameras. The woman he was supposed to marry began walking toward him. There was no escape. Until Mia accidentally crossed his path. A quiet gasp slipped from her lips when she almost bumped into him. Lucas looked at her, then at the crowd behind him, then back at her again. Her eyes widened, sensing the panic in his. "Sir? I am so sorry, I did not mean to." But Lucas did not let her finish. In one desperate moment, powered by instinct rather than logic, he reached out, took her gently by the shoulders, and pulled her toward him. Cameras clicked. Guests gasped. The room froze. And Lucas Harrington, New York's most eligible millionaire, kissed the new housekeeper in front of everyone. Mia stood there in shock, half breathless, barely understanding what was happening. But she felt the entire ballroom erupt around them, a storm of whispers and camera flashes swallowing the air. Lucas pulled away slowly, eyes locked with hers, his heartbeat pounding like a drum. "I am sorry," he whispered under his breath, "but you just saved my life." And that was the exact moment the night turned from ordinary into unforgettable. Let me know when you are ready for part 2, where the consequences of that single kiss begin to unfold. The ballroom did not calm down after the kiss. In fact, the uproar grew louder with every passing second. Phones were raised. Reporters whispered urgently. The woman Lucas was supposed to marry stood frozen in disbelief. And Mia, she could not even breathe. Lucas gently released her shoulders and stepped half a foot back, giving her space. But his voice remained low, steady, and meant only for her. "Please stay calm. I promise I will explain everything in just a moment." Mia opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Her hands trembled slightly. She had only been working at the Harrington estate for 3 days. She had learned where the silverware belonged, how to polish mirrors without leaving streaks, and how to avoid crossing paths with the wealthy guests who treated staff like part of the wallpaper. But nothing had prepared her for this. The room swirled with whispers. Who is she? Is she the mistress? Is that the new maid? This is unbelievable. Did he just ruin the merger? A member of the event staff approached Mia, concerned. "Are you all right?" Before she could speak, Lucas placed a hand up politely. "She is fine. he said with calm authority. She is with me. The entire room went silent at those words. Mia felt every eye turn toward her. The heat in her cheeks rose until she wished she could disappear behind the curtains. But Lucas stood beside her, a steady presence, shielding part of the view with his body. Then his father stepped down from the stage, walking toward them with a stiff jaw and shoulders tight with anger. Lucas, a word. Now. Guests parted as the older man approached. Lucas leaned slightly toward Mia and whispered, "Do not move from here. I will handle it." Mia nodded slowly, still stunned. Lucas followed his father to a quiet corner, but the guests kept staring at the young housekeeper standing alone near the dance floor, her uniform crisp and her posture frozen. She could hear snippets of the heated conversation across the room. "You humiliated this family. That engagement was the foundation of a merger. You think you can blow it up with a stunt? Who is that girl?" "She is staff, father. Nothing more. She is not responsible for this." Mia lowered her eyes. Her heart throbbed painfully. She should never have been in the ballroom. Housekeepers were supposed to remain behind the scenes. She had only stepped in to return a dropped napkin before it was lost among the guests. She had only meant to help. A woman in a navy gown approached her, lips curled slightly. "So, you are the girl of the night. Congratulations. You have made history, and possibly cost this family a multi-million-dollar deal." Mia swallowed hard. "I did not mean for any of this to happen." "Oh, honey," the woman said with a cold laugh. "That is what they all say." Mia looked down at her hands. They were shaking again. Before the woman could continue, Lucas returned. His father watched from a distance, furious but silent. Lucas reached Mia and spoke softly. "Come with me." Mia hesitated. "Sir, I believe I should return to the staff area. I do not want to create more trouble." Lucas shook his head once. "You did not create trouble." "I did." He placed a reassuring hand near her elbow, guiding her toward a side hallway where the crowd could not follow. The moment they stepped away from the ballroom noise, Mia finally breathed. Lucas turned to her fully. "I owe you an explanation," he said. "What happened was not fair to you. But I did it because I was trapped." Mia spoke quietly. "Trapped how?" Lucas leaned against the wall, running a hand through his hair. "My parents arranged a marriage for me. A business alliance. A merger disguised as love. They planned to announce it tonight, even though I never agreed." He looked directly at her. "When you walked past, you were the first real person I had seen all evening. You looked honest, grounded, and I panicked." Mia absorbed every word slowly. "So you used me to escape," she said softly. Lucas closed his eyes for a brief second. "Yes, and I am sorry. You did not deserve that." Silence lingered between them. Then Lucas continued, his voice lower now, almost fragile. "But if I did not act, my life would have been decided for me. I would have been trapped in a marriage that was not mine." Mia could see the exhaustion behind his confidence. He was a millionaire, surrounded by wealth and influence, yet he looked more lost than any person she had ever met. She spoke carefully. "I understand wanting to choose your own life, but you should not have pulled me into this without asking." "You are right, and I intend to fix it," Lucas replied. "But before I can, I need your help." Mia blinked. "My help?" Lucas took a breath. "Tonight, the world thinks I kissed you because you are the woman I want. If I deny it now, it will crush you. They will say you tricked me. They will say you staged it. It will ruin your job and your reputation." Mia's stomach tightened. She had not thought that far. Lucas met her eyes with steady sincerity. "I need to present you as my secret girlfriend. Just for a short time. Long enough to stop the arranged marriage. Long enough to protect you from backlash." Her pulse quickened. "Sir, that is impossible. I am just a housekeeper." "You are Mia," he said softly. "And that is enough." The hallway felt suddenly warm. Quiet. The weight of the night sat between them. Lucas extended a hand, not touching her, only offering. "Let me make this right. Let me protect you from a storm that I created." Mia stared at his hand, unsure, frightened, but also unable to ignore the gentleness in his voice. After a long moment, she whispered, "What exactly do you need me to do?" Lucas exhaled in relief, and the true beginning of their contract was just about to unfold. Mia stood in the quiet hallway, the muffled noise of the ballroom fading behind her like a distant storm. Lucas did not rush her. He stood there calmly, giving her space, letting her breath settle. When she finally nodded for him to explain more, Lucas motioned toward a small lounge across the corridor. They stepped inside. The room was dim, lit only by a single golden lamp on a side table. The calmness was a sharp contrast to the chaos outside. Lucas spoke first. I know this is overwhelming, but I cannot let you take the fall for something I created. If I do nothing, tomorrow's headlines will accuse you of manipulation. People will say horrible things. And that is not something I am willing to allow. Mia clasped her hands. What exactly are you suggesting? Lucas reached into his suit pocket and pulled out a small leather notebook. It was simple, compact, and well, worn as if he used it often. He opened it to a blank page and placed it on the table between them. Let us make this official, he said gently. Not romantic. Not emotional. Just practical. Mia frowned slightly. Official? Yes, Lucas replied. A short-term agreement. 60 days. During that time, you will act as my girlfriend so I can break the arranged marriage without destroying your reputation. In return, I will protect your job, your privacy, and your dignity. He took a pen, clicked it, and placed it beside the notebook. You can write the rules. You can set the boundaries. Every line. Mia looked at him, surprised. You want me to write the terms? Yes. Because you deserve control over a situation that I dragged you into. For a moment, she did not move. Then slowly, she took the pen, still unsure but touched by the sincerity in his voice. She began writing in her careful handwriting. Rule 1. No romantic expectations. This is not a real relationship. Rule 2. No physical contact except when a public setting requires acting. Rule 3. Respect for personal space at all times. Rule 4. No interference with my job or my private life. Rule 5. This agreement ends exactly 60 days from today. She paused, reading the list over again. Lucas said nothing, letting her take her time. When she finished, she handed the notebook back to him. Lucas studied the rules, nodding with quiet approval. These are reasonable, he said. I accept all of them. Mia exhaled softly. And what will you do for me? Lucas sat forward slightly, his voice steady. I will pay for your mother's medical treatment. I will ensure your job at the estate is protected. And I will clear your name publicly so no one can accuse you of using me. Mia's breath caught. I did not ask for money. I know, Lucas said. That is why I am offering it. Because you did not ask. Silence settled again. Not heavy. Not tense. Just thoughtful. Mia looked down at the notebook one more time. Her handwriting looked small on the page, but the words felt enormous. Every rule she wrote was a shield. Every boundary was a reminder that she still had some control over her life. Lucas extended his hand. If you agree, we shake, and the contract begins. Mia stared at his hand. Earlier that night, this same man had kissed her in front of hundreds of people. Now he stood there with nothing but respect in his eyes. She raised her chin a little. I have one more condition, she said. Lucas waited. You must promise that when this ends, you will tell your family that I never manipulated you in any way. Lucas nodded immediately. I promise. Mia took a breath, then placed her hand in his. The handshake was firm but gentle. The agreement was real. The world outside the lounge still believed she was the mysterious woman who stole a kiss from a millionaire. But inside this quiet room, the truth was much simpler. Two strangers were about to protect each other from consequences neither of them asked for. Lucas released her hand last. Tomorrow, he said, we will present ourselves to the public as a couple. Not dramatic. Not flashy. Just believable. Mia nodded nervously. And what happens now? Lucas glanced toward the ballroom doors where the noise had returned to full intensity. Now, he said, I walk you out of here with dignity. And you hold your head high. Because no matter what anyone says tonight, you did not do anything wrong. Mia straightened her shoulders. Together, they stepped back into the chaos. The contract had begun. The next morning, New York City woke up to a storm. Not of rain, but of headlines. Lucas Harrington kisses mystery woman. Harrington heir rejects arranged marriage with bold public gesture. Who is the housekeeper who stole the spotlight? Mia saw the news on a small television in the staff break room. Every channel replayed the photo of the kiss. Every commentator offered theories. Every headline felt louder than the last. Her stomach tightened. She wondered if she had made a mistake agreeing to the contract. Then the door opened. Lucas stepped inside, dressed in a tailored charcoal suit, calm as ever. He held a to-go cup of coffee and placed it gently in front of her. I guess you might need this, he said. Mia touched the cup carefully. Everyone thinks I did this on purpose. I know, Lucas replied. And that is why we are going to take control of the narrative. He held out his hand. Come with me. It is time for your training. Mia blinked. Training? Yes. If we are going to be a believable couple, you cannot show up looking terrified every time someone points a camera at us. She hesitated, then nodded and followed him out of the room. Their first stop was a private boutique downtown. The stylist team was already waiting, buzzing with energy and excitement. Racks of elegant dresses lined the space, shimmering under delicate lights. One stylist approached Mia with a soft smile. Do not worry. We are here to help you look like yourself, just the version that no one ignores. Mia stepped into the fitting room. She tried on dresses in soft ivory, deep plum, navy blue. Some were too fancy, others too bold. But eventually she found a simple, knee-length black dress that fit her perfectly. She looked at herself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. Lucas entered the room slowly, careful to keep his gaze respectful. That one, he said. It is strong without trying too hard. Mia felt her cheeks warm. Thank you. Their next lesson took place at a private rehearsal studio. A consultant in a crisp suit stood beside a table. If you two want the world to believe this new relationship, you need to move like a couple, the consultant said. That means eye contact, shared space, synchronized body language. Mia felt her face flush again. Synchronized? Yes, Lucas said, offering his hand. Like this. He guided her through basic steps. How to walk beside him, how to pause when he paused, how to lean subtly toward him when cameras clicked. Not intimate, just coordinated. At first, Mia stumbled, her steps stiff and awkward. Lucas chuckled lightly. You are thinking too hard, he said. That is easy for you to say, she replied. But after a few tries, she began to find a rhythm. Her movements became smoother, more relaxed. Lucas nodded approvingly. You are a quick learner. Mia exhaled slowly. I just do not want to embarrass you. You will not, he answered. Not even close. Their final stop of the day was the Harrington penthouse. Lucas wanted Mia to know the space, since the media expected her to visit often as part of the relationship. The elevator opened to a breathtaking view of Manhattan. Floor 2, ceiling windows revealed the skyline, glowing under the late afternoon sun. Mia stepped forward slowly, overwhelmed. This does not feel real. Lucas watched her expression. It is just a home. Mine happens to be in the sky. Yours happens to be more grounded. Neither is better. Mia turned toward him. You do not talk like someone born into this. That is because I never wanted to be trapped by it. She nodded softly. Then, unexpectedly, Mia laughed when she almost tripped over a decorative vase near the entrance. I swear this thing moved on purpose, she said. Lucas smiled for the first time that day. A genuine, unguarded smile. Do not worry, he said. The vase cannot judge you. Mia raised an eyebrow. I am pretty sure everything in this penthouse can judge me. Not when I am on your side, Lucas replied. The words settled in the air with surprising warmth. For the first time since the kiss, Mia realized something. This agreement was supposed to be pretend. But standing there, watching Lucas watch her with quiet sincerity, she felt something she did not expect. Safety. 3 days after their training sessions, Lucas and Mia were scheduled to make their first public appearance as a couple. The event was a charity gala held at a glass-walled art center overlooking the Hudson River. It was a major social gathering, attended by business leaders, philanthropists, and media outlets who loved nothing more than a public scandal to dissect. Mia rode with Lucas in the back of a quiet black SUV. The city lights blurred outside the windows as the car drove smoothly toward the venue. Mia smoothed the fabric of her dress nervously. I feel like the world is waiting for me to mess up, she whispered. Lucas shook his head. They are waiting for me to mess up. Not you. That is not comforting, Mia replied. Lucas smiled gently. Let me try again. You have nothing to prove. Just be yourself. That is more than enough. The car slowed to a stop. Outside, photographers had already formed a long line behind velvet ropes. Flashes popped like 1,000 small explosions. Reporters leaned forward with microphones ready. Mia inhaled sharply. Lucas noticed. He offered his arm. Ready? No, she said honestly. But I am here. That is all I need, he answered. They stepped out together. Instant chaos. Lucas. Who is she? Is this the woman from the kiss? Miss, what is your name? Are you really dating the Harrington heir? Is the engagement with the Kensington family cancelled? Lucas kept a protective hand near Mia's back without touching her. They walked forward at a controlled pace, exactly as they practiced. Mia kept her chin slightly lifted, eyes focused ahead, breathing carefully. Inside the building, the noise fell to a soft hum. Guests mingled in elegant clusters, sipping champagne and greeting each other with polite smiles. But as Lucas and Mia entered, conversations paused just long enough to generate tension. A wealthy woman in a silver gown drifted toward them with a calculated smile. Clearly someone used to judging others. "Well," she said, her voice sweet but sharp, "this must be the famous young lady who stole the spotlight at the Harrington Gala." Mia felt her heart pick up speed. She had no idea how to respond. Lucas spoke first. "She did not steal anything. I made my own decisions." The woman ignored him and turned directly to Mia. "Tell me, dear, how does a housekeeper adjust to all of this?" She made a wide gesture toward the luxurious hall. "It must be overwhelming." A few people nearby leaned closer, waiting for Mia to stumble. Mia swallowed. She remembered the training. "Stay calm. Stay steady. Speak honestly." She smiled politely. "Overwhelming? Yes. But so is any new job. I work hard. I learn fast. I take pride in what I do." The woman raised an eyebrow. "So you are proud to be a housekeeper?" "Yes," Mia said without hesitation. "I earn my living with honesty. That is something I will always be proud of." A quiet murmur rippled through the surrounding guests. Mia felt her pulse slow into something steadier, stronger. The woman in the silver gown blinked, surprised by Mia's poise. She tried again. "And do you feel comfortable dating someone far above your social level?" Mia held her gaze. "Respect is not a social level. It is a choice. Lucas has been respectful to me from the beginning." Lucas watched Mia closely, his expression softening with admiration. The woman forced a tight smile and stepped back. "Well, I suppose confidence is admirable in moderation." She left with a swirl of silk, clearly irritated. Once she was gone, Lucas leaned slightly toward Mia. "That was impressive." Mia let out a shaky breath. "I was not sure my voice would even work." "It worked," Lucas said. Everyone here heard it. A few guests approached, offering polite nods, even small compliments. Mia was stunned. Her simple, honest response had shifted the room's energy. Instead of being a target, she had become someone people were curious about, and maybe even respected. Later that evening, as the gala continued, a journalist approached with a microphone. "Miss, may I ask one question?" Mia braced herself. "Yes." "In your own words, how would you describe your connection with Lucas Harrington?" Mia looked at Lucas. He gave her the smallest nod, as if saying, "Whatever you say, I will stand by." She turned back to the reporter. "Our connection," Mia said slowly, "is built on respect, and the understanding that we are both trying to choose our own lives." The reporter smiled. "Thank you." As he walked away, Lucas spoke quietly. "That was perfect." Mia looked out across the glowing hall, the skyline reflecting on the glass walls. "I just hope I can keep doing this." Lucas answered without hesitation. "You are already doing far more than I expected." For the first time, Mia believed him. And, for the first time, Lucas realized this arrangement was starting to mean something he could not explain. The gala slowly transitioned from high energy chatter to the softer hum of a late evening. The crowd thinned, music mellowed, and the city lights outside the glass walls glowed like scattered gold dust over the Hudson River. It was the kind of night where people forgot about business agendas and simply enjoyed the quiet luxury of being seen in the right place. But Lucas did not notice any of it. He was watching Mia, not staring, just quietly observing her as she spoke to a small group of volunteers who ran the charity benefiting from the event. There was no arrogance in the way she carried herself, no attempt to impress anyone. She listened carefully, nodded politely, and thanked them for the work they did. Her posture was relaxed, her expression warm. Nothing about her felt calculated. Lucas realized he could not remember the last time he had seen someone so genuine in a room full of people pretending to be perfect. After Mia finished the conversation, she found Lucas waiting for her near one of the tall glass windows. The view behind him was stunning, but her attention shifted instantly to him. "Are you all right?" she asked. "You look like you have something on your mind." "Maybe I do," he said. He motioned to the balcony door. "Do you want to step outside? It is quieter." Mia hesitated only a moment before nodding. They stepped through the glass doors onto a wide terrace. The cool night air brushed against them, bringing with it the faint scent of the river. Below, the city buzzed with distant life, but up here, everything felt still. Mia placed her hands on the railing, taking in the skyline. It feels unreal, she whispered. All of this. Lucas stood beside her, leaving a respectful distance between them. It feels unreal to me too, he said. She looked at him with surprise. You grew up in this world. Yes, Lucas answered. But growing up around something does not mean you feel like you belong to it. Mia studied him for a moment. His expression was calm, his voice steady, but there was something different in his eyes. Something vulnerable. Earlier tonight, she said quietly, you defended me without hesitation. Thank you for that. You defended yourself, Lucas replied. I just made sure people listened. Mia smiled softly, then looked back at the skyline. I used to imagine what it would be like to stand in a place like this. Not to be rich, just to be somewhere peaceful. Somewhere high enough that the world feels small for a moment. Lucas leaned on the railing. I used to come out to balconies like this when I was younger. My parents thought I was preparing to take over the family business. But the truth is, I came out here to breathe. Mia listened carefully. She had never heard him speak so honestly. Lucas continued, his voice quieter now. My parents expect me to be someone I am not. They want a perfect heir, a perfect marriage, a perfect image. But I am tired of being the version of myself that pleases everyone except me. Mia turned toward him. That must be exhausting. It is, Lucas said. And sometimes I feel like I cannot tell anyone. Because people expect me to be grateful for a life I never chose. Mia let his words settle in the air for a moment. Then she spoke softly. You do not have to pretend with me, Lucas. I do not want anything from you. Not your money. Not your fame. Not your world. I just want honesty. Lucas exhaled, a breath that seemed to release a weight he had carried for years. You have no idea how rare that is in my life. The wind picked up gently, blowing a loose strand of hair across Mia's face. She tucked it behind her ear. Lucas watched the small gesture, realizing how comfortable he felt standing beside her. Can I tell you something? He asked. Yes. When I kissed you that night, I was desperate. I was cornered. I acted without thinking. But tonight, I am standing here with you, and I feel something I did not expect. He paused, searching for the right words. For the first time in a long time, I feel calm. Mia lowered her eyes, unsure how to respond. A part of her wanted to step back to protect her heart. Another part wanted to understand him more. Lucas, she said softly, remember the rules. This is supposed to be an agreement. A temporary one. I know, he said. And I respect that. Silence settled again, deeper this time. Not awkward. Not tense. Just honest. Mia turned back to the city view. I do not know what this is. I do not know what will happen when the 60 days end. Lucas looked at her with unwavering sincerity. Whatever happens, I will make sure you walk away with your dignity. And with choices that belong only to you. She met his eyes, slow, cautious, thoughtful. Something fragile passed between them. Not love. Not yet. But a shift. Something real. The kind of moment that stays with two people long after the night is over. And neither of them realized it yet. But this balcony conversation was the first crack in the wall Lucas built around his heart. The night after the gala, Lucas dropped Mia off at her apartment with a quiet, reassuring promise that he would handle the press the next morning. Mia went to sleep believing that maybe, just maybe, things were finally stabilizing. She was wrong. By sunrise, trouble had already arrived. It began with a message from one of the senior housekeepers at the Harrington estate. Mia, do not come in today. Something is happening. I will explain when I can. Mia stared at her phone in confusion. Before she could respond, the television in her living room flashed with breaking news. Anonymous sources claim the woman seen with Lucas Harrington has a history of seeking financial gain from wealthy employers. Mia's heart dropped. The reporter continued. There are unverified claims that she pursued the Harrington heir intentionally. Some sources suggest she manipulated him during a vulnerable moment. Mia covered her mouth with her hand. No, that is not true. Her phone buzzed again. This time, it was Lucas. Stay home. Do not talk to anyone. I am coming to you. But before Mia could reply, there was a knock at her apartment door. She froze. Mia, a familiar voice called. It is Mrs. Langford, the estate manager. Mia opened the door hesitantly. Mrs. Langford stood with her clipboard held tightly to her chest. She was always professional, always composed. But today, There was something sharp in her expression. "Mia," she said, "I need you to understand the situation. Mr. Harrington's parents are furious. They believe the scandal has gone too far." "I did not do anything wrong," Mia said quietly. Mrs. Langford sighed. "I know, but they want someone to blame. And you are the easiest target." The words felt like a punch to the chest. "What are they saying?" Mia asked. "That you positioned yourself near him on purpose. That you inserted yourself into their world. That you encouraged the gossip. That you are disrupting a multi-million-dollar alliance." Mia's voice broke. "None of that is true. I believe you," Mrs. Langford said. "But they do not. And they have the power to rewrite the story." Before Mia could respond, a black town car pulled up to the curb outside. The door opened, and Lucas stepped out. His posture was tense, his jaw tight with frustration. "Mia," he said, "you should not be dealing with this alone." Mrs. Langford stepped back as Lucas approached. "Sir," she said stiffly, "your parents have asked that Mia be removed from the estate indefinitely, until further notice." Lucas's eyes flashed with anger. "On what grounds?" "They claim she is a liability," Mrs. Langford replied, "and that this relationship jeopardizes your responsibilities." Mia felt her throat tighten. "I can clear this up. I can explain." "No," Lucas said firmly. "You will not defend yourself to people who have decided not to listen." He turned to Mrs. Langford. "Tell my parents that if they want to speak to me, they know exactly where to find me. But they will not speak to Mia without going through me first." Mrs. Langford hesitated, then nodded respectfully. "Very well, sir." She left quickly, clearly wanting no part in the conflict unfolding. The moment she was gone, Mia finally let the fear spill through her words. "I told you this would happen. I told you I was a problem for your family." "You are not the problem," Lucas interrupted. "The problem is that they refuse to see you as a human being." Mia pressed her palms together. "Lucas, I cannot be the reason you lose everything." "You are not," he said. "If my family cannot tolerate my choices, then that is their flaw, not yours." His voice softened. "I will not let them destroy your name." Mia looked down, trying to steady her breath. "And what about the contract? What if your parents expose that too?" "They cannot expose what they do not know," Lucas answered. "And they will not learn it from me." The worry in Mia's eyes did not fade. Lucas stepped back slightly, giving her space while keeping his tone steady. "Mia, this is the moment people try to intimidate us into backing down. It is exactly what they want. But I will not let them push you out of your job, your home, or your dignity." She met his gaze, searching for any sign of doubt. She found none. The storm had begun, but Lucas was standing directly between her and the wind. For the rest of the morning, Lucas stayed with Mia in her apartment. He refused to leave her alone while the media storm outside continued to grow. The accusations were spreading quickly, twisting the truth into something poisonous. By noon, talk shows were debating whether Mia had engineered the relationship to climb the social ladder. Mia sat on the couch, knees pulled close, her hands clasped tightly. "This will not stop," she whispered. "Your family wants me gone. The press wants a villain. And I am the easiest one to blame." Lucas sat across from her, elbows resting on his knees, his voice calm but firm. "You are not a villain. You did not do anything wrong. I created this situation. I am the one who deserves the scrutiny. But your family will not blame you," Mia said. "They will blame me." "That is exactly why I have to act," Lucas replied. Before Mia could ask what he meant, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and exhaled slowly. "It is my father. He wants to meet immediately." Mia stood. "Maybe you should go. Maybe you can fix this without me being involved." Lucas shook his head. "No. Whatever they want to say, they can say it to both of us." Mia froze. "Lucas, they do not want to see me. They want to remove me from your life. And I want them to know that removing you is not an option," he said. There was a conviction in his voice that Mia had never heard before. They arrived at the Harrington corporate building less than an hour later. The lobby was polished marble, cold and intimidating. Executive assistants stared as the pair walked through, whispers following them like a shadow. Lucas led Mia directly to the top floor meeting room. When he opened the door, his parents, 2 board members, and an attorney were already seated. His father spoke first. "Lucas, this situation has spiraled out of control. Your personal decisions are hurting the family name." Lucas stayed composed. "My personal decisions are my own." His mother folded her arms. This girl has jeopardized a merger worth millions. She should be dismissed immediately. Mia lowered her eyes, but Lucas stepped forward. No, he said. You will not talk about her like that. She has done nothing but try to live her life with integrity, something this family seems to have forgotten. A quiet gasp came from one of the board members. Lucas continued. You want someone to blame? Blame me. I caused the scandal. I made the choice. I pulled her into it. Not the other way around. His father's voice hardened. We expect you to end this relationship and repair the alliance. Lucas looked directly at him. I will not. The room fell silent. His father leaned back in disbelief. You are choosing a housekeeper over your future? I am choosing honesty over convenience, Lucas said. And I am choosing to protect someone who was harmed because of my actions. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out the leather notebook. The contract Mia wrote in her own handwriting. He did not hand it to his parents. He held it as a symbol. This agreement was not about romance. It was about responsibility. She wrote the rules to protect herself from me, not the other way around. That should tell you everything about her character. Mia's breath caught. She had not expected him to reveal that. Lucas turned to her, his voice softening. I cannot undo what happened, but I can choose to stand with you, not against you. Then he faced the room again. If the merger fails, then it fails. I will find another way to build the company without sacrificing my integrity or hers. His mother's voice trembled with anger. You would risk your inheritance? Lucas answered calmly. If my inheritance requires destroying someone innocent, then yes. Mia felt her eyes sting, but she blinked quickly to keep her composure. The attorney cleared his throat. Lucas, statements like this can have long-term consequences. You may lose your position as future CEO. Lucas nodded. Then I will lose it with a clear conscience. No one spoke. The weight of his words filled the entire room. For the first time, Mia realized that Lucas was not just protecting her from a scandal. He was choosing to stand as the man he always wanted to be. Not the heir, not the puppet, not the perfect son, but someone who fought for what was right. Lucas turned to Mia and extended his hand, not as part of the contract, not as pretend, but as a sincere gesture. Come on, he said. We are leaving. Mia placed her hand in his quietly. In that moment, without fanfare or cameras, the real turning point happened. The contract might have brought them together, but the choice to walk out of that room, that came from the heart. Lucas and Mia walked out of the boardroom together, their footsteps echoing through the quiet marble hallway. The tension of the confrontation still lingered in the air, but a new kind of calm followed them. Not relief, not victory, something gentler, something real. Outside the building, the late afternoon sun cast a warm glow over the city. Lucas opened the car door for Mia, and as she stepped in, she realized something important. He had chosen her, not because of an agreement, not because of pressure, but because he believed she deserved to be stood up for. The ride back to her apartment was quiet at first. Mia stared out the window, her thoughts heavy. Lucas, she said softly, you did not have to sacrifice everything. You are wrong, he replied. I had to, because keeping everything by hurting someone else is not a life worth living. She turned toward him. But what happens now? What happens to your future with the company? Lucas smiled faintly. My future is mine to rebuild, and I would rather rebuild it honestly than inherit it by staying silent. The car slowed to a stop outside her building. Lucas stepped out and walked her to the front entrance. They stood there for a moment, surrounded by the noise of the city but wrapped in a quiet bubble of understanding. Mia, Lucas said, his voice lower now, the contract, it is over. You do not owe me anything. Mia nodded. I know. He hesitated. But I want to be clear. Even without the agreement, I want you in my life. Not because of the scandal. Not because of duty. Because I choose you. Mia felt her heartbeat shift, steady and warm. Lucas, I do not want to be with you because of protection or gratitude. I want to be with someone who sees me for who I am. I do, he said softly. I see you. The words struck deeper than she expected. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Lucas reached into his jacket and pulled out the small leather notebook. The contract. The rules she wrote in her own careful handwriting. This, he said, helped us survive the chaos. But it is not who we are now. He handed it to her. Mia held the notebook gently. She ran her fingers over the creases, remembering every moment that had led them here. What should I do with it? She asked. Lucas met her eyes. Keep it. as a reminder that our story did not begin with perfection. It began with honesty. Mia smiled, a slow, genuine smile that reached her eyes. "Lucas," she said, "if we move forward from here, I want it to be real. Not pretend. Not for the public. Not for anyone else." He nodded. "Real is the only thing I want." Lucas stepped closer, but not too close, giving her room to decide. Mia closed the remaining distance, standing just inches away from him. This time, there were no cameras, no guests, no scandal, no contract, just two people choosing each other freely. When their lips met, it was not a rescue, not a performance, not a desperate escape. It was a choice, a real beginning. As they pulled back gently, Lucas whispered, 60 days were never enough. Mia laughed softly. "Good, because I think we have a lot more than 60 ahead of us." They walked inside together, the city lights glowing behind them, marking the first chapter of a story that no contract could have predicted.